Hello, everyone.
Hello, welcome and
Hey.
welcome back.
Yes,
Welcome back to us. We
yes.
haven't been on for a couple of weeks.
No, we have not. And thank you for all the support with bringing I always want to say students, and they've moved from student to professional, but
Yeah.
I guess still, in my heart, they're always all my students.
The support has been amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah. Trevor, Lori, Nana.
Yes.
So excited that she has
Yes.
started to do some
Oh.
work with everybody. Yeah.
Yes. You're going to hear Nana, and I can explain the whole Nan thing. She lets me call her Nan, but every like twice a month, Trevor will do twice a month. So on their own, which is great. And
Yeah.
who knows who we'll have on here. And for all of you wondering, no, Mari-Lyn and I are still partners in this, best friends, and we're
Absolutely.
never each other.
Absolutely.
No, not even. So anyway,
Yeah.
welcome. And thank you for being here and thank you for your support. So the Nan thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so the name. So Nana, not her name. No, she has this beautiful name, and I have such a hard time pronouncing names. I just have such a difficult time. So when and maybe I'll ask her maybe on her next podcast, could you say your birth name for everyone? So as you all know, because I talk about it, I have some hearing loss, and so it's hard for me to hear certain tones, and so I often hear really odd things. And so anyway, I couldn't, and then that goes to pronunciation as well, because I can't hear it as well to pronounce it correctly.
Right.
So from probably our very first session we had years ago, I just said, "Can I call you Nan?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, and actually friends and family call me Nana." So that would work. And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But for some reason, but in the United States, she's from Sweden, originally from Bosnia. But in the United States, Nana, that's what people call grandma all the time, right? So
Yeah.
I could never get on board with Nana. That was like, I just can't do it. You can call me Nana, but I can't call you Nana. So I just went with Nan, and that's what really stuck. And I introduced her that way. So I think
Yeah.
everyone at TCS calls her Nan.
I think so.
And she's very generous and just allows that to be what it is. I think she gave up trying to correct people like a long time ago. Nope, it's Nan. So anyway, yes. Okay, so
So
Miss
I want to bring up an old podcast real quick.
Oh, okay.
The challenge, the phone challenge.
Oh, we
Via
never
challenge.
talked about that. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I sucked bad at that. Talk about a challenge. It was a challenge for me. It was a
Was
challenge.
it? Yeah.
Not for you though. You really
Not for me.
do
Not for me.
tell everyone.
I do not pick up my phone first thing in the morning. I leave it plugged in on the nightstand, and sometimes it's 30 minutes. Most times it's an hour, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
Excuse me. The first 2 days it was like, oh, okay, just
Yeah.
I'm doing it. Bottom line, that's the way it is. After 4 days, so I think I had done it for 4 days, and on the fifth day, I thought, I'm grabbing my phone. I'm just gonna see if I can,
this day.
bring it out and just leave it. No, that addictive piece of me, it was instant.
You were wonky. Your energy was wonky all
all
day.
day, all day. It was low.
Yeah.
It was almost depressive.
Yes.
I could not. I either had to have my phone in my hand or the TV on.
Yeah.
It was awful. It was absolutely awful. Um, Next day, I had no desire to pick my phone up when I got up.
That's good.
There has been 2 mornings where I unlocked the screen to see if I had heard from somebody, but I was expecting it.
Okay.
I hadn't I'm so grateful that I had not gotten it because I didn't need to look at it. Because
Good.
had I gotten something, I may have read
Right.
it. But no, in fact, this morning, um, my husband had asked me a question and I said, "Oh, let me check." And I reached for my phone. I went, "Oh my gosh, I haven't even gotten my phone."
Nice. See, that's brilliant. And you feel good. You feel so much better.
I feel better. I act better.
Yes.
I do better. It's amazing. Absolutely mind blowing. So thank you for presenting that challenge.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for remembering to talk about it.
Yeah, well, I had a client who asked me about it.
Oh, yeah, like, we haven't heard anything about the challenge.
Well, I don't think we've been on.
I don't think so.
I
I
don't think we've been on
got
since
together, right? That was the
together.
last time we
Right.
were on together, I
Yeah.
think, and maybe not, and maybe we just didn't talk about it if, before, but it's been a challenge for me. So part of it, were a couple nights when I think the first 2 nights, maybe even 3 nights, when I go to bed and then I was like, oh, I forgot to put it in the other room. And I went, oh, well, I'm already in bed. I am not getting up to go, right? And then what was just coming to me as you were talking, I mean, I know this about myself, but I don't think I ever really looked at it before. Part of, I know when someone has texted me or sent me an email. I literally every morning wake up mid conversation with my guides. I don't know how long we've been in conversation. I don't know anything, but I wake up and that's already happening. It's funny because I used to be like it would take me a long time to wake up. I was now my deva takes a while, but my brain, even when I was younger, took a long time. Now it doesn't at all. I'm mid conversation, but I tend to know. I know who's sitting there waiting. They sent me an email or a text. So you would think I'd go, okay, well, I know who it is, so I don't even need to look, right? But that's not the way it works. It's like I want to see because I don't know I just know that they have. And all the time, someone will come into my consciousness. Actually, just today that happened with you. We did not hear from that person, but that happens a lot to me too. They come across my mind, and then a little bit of time goes by, and my phone beeps, and there they are. That happens a lot. So this is a real challenge for me, and I want to thank you for bringing it up. I think I did it just for a few nights, so I want to try again. I want to try again because I do want to get better. I don't know. I think I really need to sit with my guides about that, and just say, first of all, can you not just, I don't want to wake up in mid conversation. Maybe that would do, I don't know. I don't know if that's the right thing or not. I'm going to ask you, Mari-Lyn, is that healthy for me, or is that, what do you get?
Doesn't feel like the two are even connected.
Okay. But would I be more rested if I didn't wake up mid conversation? Like if they just like stood back and, oh, Pam's waking up, okay, because they got to know when that's happening. They jump back and I wake up to my brain not already in conversation. Uh-oh.
What I'm getting is
You're the one that talks to us.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
That's a you thing.
Yeah, that is a me thing. We've talked about this. I have so much air in my brain, it works all the time. It's always on whatever speed more
Right.
than I want it to be.
So you engaging with them, if they were to stop the conversation and step back, they are in a sense imposing on your free will.
True. Whatever.
It's
Blah
like,
blah. Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's something maybe I should work on. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like I wake up to like an office meeting every morning. I wake up and I'm in this, like, we're planning my day, we're planning my future, we're planning because I always wake up, as you know, Mari-Lyn, with new ideas, things to do.
Yeah.
Um, that's just part of who I am. So maybe it's not a bad thing. I mean, I don't feel like I'm tired because of it or anything like that. I'm just wondering if I don't know. I need to sit with that. Would it be healthier for me? And I don't even know that it would be healthier for me. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't not happen.
Right.
Oh,
That's part of that is part of how you start your day.
it is. And that's been for a very long time now. Very long time. Yeah.
But could you do it with your phone in the other room?
Probably. Probably. Yes. Because I know who's on there. Typically, I know that there's, an email from
Yeah.
so and so and a text from so and so. So I don't need to look at it right now. Right. All right. Damn it. Yes, I will try that challenge again. Now,
So, really interested to know if any of you did the challenge,
yeah,
didn't do the challenge, chose not to, weren't able to,
right.
forgot about it, and you want to try it again. This is just my new normal now.
Yes.
I put on my glasses, I pick up my glass of water, and the phone stays put.
And since you've been doing that, sometimes I really have something to say, and so I'll text it to you, and I know that you'll get it when you get it. There's never anything like totally emergency thing going on. But I have been waiting now since you've been doing that. I wait for you to text me now. Yeah. Unless, of course, again, like I said, sometimes you just have to get something out and then I can leave it alone. But if I don't tell you, it just rolls around in my head like a crazy person. So this brings us to what I think we want to talk about today. You and Trevor now you did like a podcast reading
Right.
situation.
I think it was on that one.
Okay.
I think it was on the podcast where I kind of threw him a curveball and asked him to do a personal reading for me.
Right.
And I don't even remember what card it was that he threw. I know the general topic around the podcast was life's up and downs and the Wheel of Fortune.
The Wheel of Fortune, yes.
I want to say that there was a Two of Swords.
Okay.
That he threw, and choice paralysis.
Yes.
And I went, oh my God, that's what you call it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
Now, did he channel that right on the spot, or was that something that he has used before? Do you know?
I believe he channeled that on the spot.
Right on the spot. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is so fabulous.
Yep.
Okay.
And you know what? If it was during the pick a card and it was a general thing, I still think it was on the spot. But man, for me, choice paralysis is something I have suffered with my entire life.
Yes.
And it has even led to people believing I just didn't care.
Yeah.
And I think that may have happened even with us.
Sure.
At one point.
Absolutely.
Because I just, whatever you want, I just went along, whatever you wanted. I could not allow myself to make a choice.
As a matter of fact, we used to have, I'm not sure if they're called arguments, but we would have, I'm going to call them that, just have arguments about that.
Yeah.
Because I would be like, damn it, I need you to be emotional with me.
I need you to care about this.
Yes, yes.
And I'm like,
I'd be
I do
oh,
care.
yes. And well, you don't seem like it. And then I would get triggered and there would be a big thing. I remember that.
A couple of times. Yeah.
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 And it was, now we have a name for it. Once we talked about it, we got down to some healing for both of us on that issue.
Yes.
Because someone else having choice paralysis when I need them to do something is very triggering to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was a trigger. And I mean, you were triggered, which put you into choice paralysis. So it was like, yeah, we had a few rough conversations, but once we got down to it, we realized what it was.
Yeah. And
of course, it's always so much easier to deal with something when you know what it is. But choice paralysis, we now have a title for it.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
And I think this happens a lot more to people than we realize. A lot more. I think every one of us goes into choice paralysis and we fool ourselves. We don't look deep at it. We just go, oh, it doesn't matter to me. And because it can feel that way, right? Like
there are times, yes.
Yeah.
Where we can trick ourselves into thinking, well, it really just doesn't matter.
Right.
Or I don't care. Because there is a difference.
Yes.
For me, in it doesn't matter and I don't care.
Very different.
Yeah.
Like do you want steak or chicken for dinner? I don't care. Like that's kind of to me, that's I don't care. Either one, whatever.
Do you want dinner or do you not want dinner?
Right.
It really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. The severity though of choice paralysis for different people. Everybody experiences it. I have no doubt. Everyone.
Right.
But some people.
And the reasons are different.
Oh boy. A plethora of reasons.
Yes.
But there are some people who suffer from choice paralysis
all the time.
All the time.
Like yeah.
Constant.
And that's real wounding, right? That's real. That's more than that's trauma.
That is trauma.
Someone, and I'm just throwing this out there as one of the reasons is possibly you were, no matter what as a child, let's say you were never able to have an opinion or your opinion was always wrong.
Always wrong?
Yeah.
Could that yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Living, breathing proof. Yeah.
Right. So no matter what you say, it's going to be wrong. So you just shut down and you don't. And you don't. And that becomes, even though you grow out of it, we get older, we hold on to those traumas and they continue throughout our lives. And then that's one of those things that becomes, oh, that's just who she is. She can't make a choice.
Yes.
Well, no, that's not just who she is. No, that's the trauma. She's in choice paralysis. Love
choice now. Hate to go here. That can in turn turn into a choice.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because I'm guilty of that too.
Yes.
I am guilty of falling into that safety net of not choosing.
Yes.
Getting much better now. Well, especially very recently. Oh my God. Since hearing that choice paralysis.
Oh.
And then I have to really look at myself and say, damn.
Yeah.
Am I really in choice paralysis or am I just choosing to be comfortable and act like it's choice paralysis? Nowadays, I'm acting choice paralysis. But but it's true. But no, there was a period of time. No, and there are still some things in ongoing in life where I've not found the courage
It's a good
to
word.
look at whatever's causing the choice paralysis in some issues, areas, not issues, areas.
Yeah. I know for what was, as you were talking, what was coming up for me was growing up with the mother that I had. And I won't go into that because you've all heard me drone on about my mother, but she was one that you had to choose what she wanted. So it was really sometimes scary to,
Oof.
and it wasn't every single time, but when it became that, when she would say, do you want this or this? And she knew what she wanted you to say, that could get a little scary. And then I learned to just not, what?
Sorry. I'm over here laughing. For those of you that are just listening, I just started laughing. That just brought up a memory of me.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw my niece under the bus here for a minute.
okay.
Her and her, let's see, how old was the little one? She was 2 something. I don't know. Old enough to make a choice of what she wanted to eat.
Oh, uh-huh.
Old enough to talk, but she was,
Yeah.
if she was 3, it was barely. Do you want chicken nuggets, corn dog, hot pocket, chicken nuggets, hot dog, corn pocket, hot dog, chicken nuggets, hot pocket? And she just kept repeating the same 3 things, just like fire at her, fire at her, fire at her. And every time my great niece would answer, she would throw the 3
Yes.
the 3 options back at her.
Yes.
Until she picked the one that my niece wanted
to get for her. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Just tell me what you want to make for me. Instead of giving me these false choices. Yes.
And you know, my husband and I, we still joke about this today. And if my niece is listening to this, when this airs, and if she's listening to this, I love you. And you know, we'll laugh about this when we talk about it.
That's such a mom thing. And I still do something similar to that today. My kids die laughing. So you hungry? And they'll say, no. Are you sure? No. Well, I'll just go ahead and make you something. And so they're like, Mom, I'm not hungry. And so, so part of that is it's a silly mom thing.
It's a mom thing.
Yeah, it is.
You know, any of us can, especially when children are involved and they're that small, we already have an idea of what they're going to want, right? And
Right.
and if they prove us wrong in that, it's hard to admit.
Yes. Yes. That also brings up, I think I've said this before, but I used to cook. I mean, I always cooked at home, and I didn't cook out of boxes. I didn't, whatever. My mother was an amazing cook. And though I never reached the level of her cooking, I still know how to cook, anyway. And I still remember the time my oldest son came home from a friend's house and told me, Mom, have you ever heard of Hamburger Helper? And I was like, oh my God. So I started having to on occasion, make him Hamburger Helper, because he just
hilarious.
Loved it. Yeah.
Just hilarious.
Like, oh my God. So you try to cook healthy for your kids. You try to, do the right thing and then they go to friend's house and everything gets blown up. You might as well just forget it.
Oh my gosh. So I totally interrupted with my own story, but you were talking about having a mother where you had to choose what she wanted.
Yeah.
And how that created choice paralysis for you.
Oh boy. Yeah. And then I would do that with my husband when we were the first, I don't know how many years of our marriage. And I would just let him make all the choices. And he's a decision maker, so it kind of worked for him, but it put us in a really awful pattern of he would just start making the choices, and I didn't always like the choices, but I wouldn't speak up, or I would get pissed off at him and he wouldn't understand why. Well, of course he didn't understand why. So yeah, we thankfully were able to work through that, but it can cause a lot of problems.
Yes.
Lots of problems. Because he's such a decision maker. He doesn't take time. I mean, if it's a big decision, of course, he thinks about it. But he just,
Right.
he just his job, you have to make quick, like it's just the way it is. And I didn't want to make choices, so he would just go ahead and make them. And then I would get pissed if it wasn't the choice that I wanted, but I never told him what I wanted, so why am I pissed? And then he'd get, it was just this horrible,
A vicious circle.
yes, awful, just awful.
And, you know, what was coming when you started talking about your husband early in my marriage, I think I created choice paralysis for my husband because
Oh,
I'd ask him what
interesting.
he wanted, but I'd always do what I wanted.
Oh, interesting.
And I would twist it. Well, I was just asking your opinion. And
Ah, that's no bueno.
yeah,
Yeah.
dang.
See, we all do
I
it
don't do
our
that
way.
anymore, thank goodness.
Yes. But look, those so many different ways choice paralysis can
Yes.
happen. And it all comes from wounding,
Mm-hmm.
all of it. And
Mm-hmm.
to be fair with uh my husband, what's just coming in now as well is his mother, which I never bring up my mother-in-law. But the choice paralysis thing. And so he learned, he just, you learn how, okay, well, I just have to make the decision because no one else is making the decision. So I'm just going to make it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, wow.
And yeah, because of my wounding, I needed that input,
Yes.
but I craved the ability to make the choice
Yeah.
because I couldn't. And so I did and totally overrode him.
Or let's say we all get stuck in situations. We all need to evolve. Every one of us,
Yes.
our life evolves. We
Mm-hmm.
cannot stay the same forever. It's not just the Gemini in me that constantly wants change, even though that can be part of trauma as well.
Mm-hmm.
Constantly wanting change. But I
Mm-hmm.
do want change. But humans, we need to continue to evolve and move up. And choice paralysis can really keep us back and settle into bad routines, that comfort zone that just seems to just go on forever, like just sit in your own filth. And I've been there where
Yeah.
I've just sat in my own filth for so long. And
Yeah.
that's choice paralysis. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's time to get out of that and go.
So choice paralysis. I mean, there might be some people that are like, what are you even talking about?
Right.
When you have a situation in front of you where you have to do something,
Mm-hmm.
you can do A, B, or C. Sometimes that in itself can be so overwhelming to the senses that
Yeah.
creates the paralysis. Yeah. Fear of retaliation for the wrong choice.
Yes.
Can create the paralysis.
Or just making a choice and then you think it was the wrong one.
Mm-hmm. FOMO.
Yes.
Fear of missing out.
Yes. But you know what? So that also brings up so we've talked about this before. Choices are just choices. Get the F over it. Like
right.
It's just a choice. Make a choice and move on. And because I can hear people saying, well, if you have all those choices, you don't know which one, can't you just ask your guide? No, they won't tell you. They will not tell you. It is not in this situation. There are times when they lead you to a certain place, right?
Mm-hmm.
But free will, because you have choice, it's your free will when you have these three choices in front of you and you're like, I don't know what to do. They're not going to tell you what to do because spiritually, it doesn't matter which one you choose. All three of them are lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've all done that. Okay, I'm going to make, this is the one I'm going to do. And I go do that and then it falls apart. And you're like, I knew I should have chosen that other one. Well, no, you shouldn't have. First of all, there's no guarantee that would have worked out better at all. You needed that lesson that you just went through, and what is that lesson, and to learn from that, and then new opportunities are going to come up. Or you got this happens to me a lot, because I will make a choice, I'll go in that direction, then I'll go, this is boring or whatever, and I'm going to switch direction. When you receive everything you needed out of that choice, it's time to make a new choice. It doesn't mean you make that one choice and you keep on to go with that forever.
Really? You sure about that?
You can ask Mari-Lyn. I'm constantly upping my game. I'm constantly saying I need more. I'm constantly changing things up, and because I get bored. And remember how I'd had many people tell me that was wrong throughout my life, into adulthood. Not long ago, people would say, well, you should stop doing that. Like, you need to give it time or whatever. So I really questioned myself, and I really thought there was something wrong with me. And I believe it was my beautiful friend Mari-Lyn who said, well, maybe you got what you needed and spirit's redirecting you now. And it's like, oh, okay. Maybe that really is what it is. Yeah. So it's not exactly choice paralysis. It's kind of the opposite, but
I absolutely have choice paralysis in everything.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And you're working on it. And that's what we're here to do, is to work on it and to heal that stuff and to get that clarity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing that happens, boy, I'm chatty today. Another thing that happens is people will start coming in, and this is so true with us, with students, clients, whatever, situations that come up, is because we need to learn something from that. Like, we're not paying attention due to, say, like choice paralysis. So then all of a sudden you're going to start seeing people come into your life talking, and you'll notice that they have choice paralysis, or a situation happens and it's to get you to become aware that this is you. This is what you're doing. And sometimes that's the way it's brought to us.
True.
Because I've had times when every client I have has the same wounding, and I'm like, what? Holy shit. So it was for me to learn. It was for me to get it.
Yeah.
And them get help too. But yeah. So.
But everybody gets a serving of the pie.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But choice paralysis can be really rough.
Yeah.
So, and it's from wounding. Most of it is from some kind of wounding. So for all of you who are at the moment going, oh my God, I do that. Take a moment when it happens and really look into where that's coming from and why. Now, it's not about blaming people. Like me, like I talk about the wounding, obviously a lot of it from my mom and family. And yes, she was within that causation. However, it's still up to me to accept to do that. And it's up to me to continue to do that. So I don't blame her for those things.
Right.
So the reasons can turn into excuses real easy.
Oh, real easy. Real easy.
And try to stay with the reason and not run into that excuse. Well, I'm just going to blame her and then I'm not going to do it. It's all her fault and I'm not going to do anything. I try never to do that. There was a time when I did it all the time. Yes, that was my life, as being a victim and blaming her for everything. And yes, we worked through that.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway.
Thankfully. And,
Yeah.
I think rarely is there one reason for choice paralysis.
Agreed.
Um,
Yeah.
I think that the different woundings, the different way the wounding came, will affect different areas of our life that have that paralysis in it. Maybe what the area of life or the type of choice or decision that we have to make. I was the youngest of three girls,
Mhm.
and having two older sisters, I felt ridiculed for some of my choices as a young child. Teasing is what siblings do.
Yes.
Siblings tease,
Ruthless sometimes.
sometimes very
Absolute
ruthlessly.
ruthless.
And for the youngest, when the others feels like they're ganging up on you, well, that's life. That's what happens.
Yes.
And as a small child, you don't think that. You don't realize, oh, well, this is just, they're just teasing me. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean I'm stupid. It doesn't mean I'm making a bad choice. Doesn't mean that their choices are so much better and they're so much smarter. And
Nope. But we don't know that. We don't have anyone usually explaining that sort of thing. And
am I this little yet?
not quite, but getting there. Yes.
Yeah. Um, a lot of my choice paralysis
Yeah.
is because of the self-doubt that I, as an adult, fostered because of some of that teasing.
And we have to take responsibility for that. Just
Yes.
FYI or fly.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
And that's how you get over it, is by taking responsibility for it and not being in that blame game or all those excuses. If you're still I use this for myself. When I use excuses for something,
Yeah.
I know that I've got something I need to look at.
Something to look at, something to heal.
Which is, yes, yes. And that's when I get a hold of Mari-Lyn and, God damn it. I have this thing, I'm making excuses, or she's kind enough to say, huh, really? She has this way of saying that when I know that I'm doing something that I need to look at. Not doing something wrong. That's not the same thing. Something to look at. She
Something
has
to
this
look at.
way, like, really? Huh?
Like,
That's the way you see it?
okay.
Yes, that's the way I see it. Damn it. Yes. What that brings up for me, I know this is off topic again, but hey, I have said for a long time that the reason that God gave me two sons, the reason I chose to have two sons and the sons that I have, is to learn to laugh at myself. And I think that comes from, part of it is that choice paralysis, the way I was, raised with my mother, whatever, like and siblings. I have a bunch of siblings, and that teasing and everything that they did, I just did not learn I could not laugh at myself for anything. So I guess it was the sibling piece that you brought up that reminded me of that. It's like, yeah, I didn't know how. And oh boy, you have boys and you learn how to laugh at yourself. You do real, well, maybe not real quick, but you do. I can laugh at everything I do now, almost, but
Eventually, yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
way better than, and you didn't know me at the worst of it, but you still knew me at part of it. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was better than it. Yes. But thank God for my sons teaching me that. So, but yes, choice paralysis is a bitch.
It is.
Just saying.
It really is.
Man.
And
Whew.
it can create well, what did you say? Sitting in your own filth?
Yes.
That really,
Yeah.
that linear, non-moving state of
Oof.
life.
Yeah.
It can also create such chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos that you can't that you can barely maneuver through.
Yes.
Um,
And really, honestly, any of those times, what is the worst that can happen? We're not talking about life and death situations here. For most of these choice paralysis, we are not talking about if you choose the wrong thing, you're going to literally die.
exactly.
We're just not. And it's most of the time, it's not, it really isn't that big of a thing. But in our wounding, it is clearly.
Clearly.
Because we really think something horrible is going to happen.
Okay. There's going to be some people that are going to go, seriously, Mari-Lyn, choosing the flavor of ice cream at times
Yes.
has been paralyzing.
Yes.
And there is a reason for that.
Oh, do tell.
Sitting in the back seat of my parents' car, having a licorice ice cream cone.
Oh, yum.
And my sister having a chocolate ice cream cone.
Okay.
She would not let me taste the chocolate.
Oh, wow. See how
After I let her taste my licorice.
oh, well, that's not okay. I would have been mad.
I'm thinking, oh my God, this memory is so vivid in my brain right now.
But see how trauma can happen? So
yes.
that's a perfect example of trauma.
Yes.
That traumatized you. And that sounds so really sounds ridiculous. That
it does.
But yes, I want to, sorry, did you have more to say? Because I wanted to, all right. No. So I know I've said this before. I probably said everything before, but I have a friend who is a shaman, and she said the way that shamans look at, yes, our soul looks like a piece of Swiss cheese. All those holes, and the holes are different sizes and they're different places around our body. It's trauma. When trauma happens, it creates a hole. So that was trauma for you. And they're showing me, I mean, it's a very small little piece, but it's still a little piece. And when that's not there, we have to navigate around it all the time until we heal it and bring that soul piece back.
Yeah.
So that's trauma. So we tend to think of trauma as, right now, if I said, what is trauma to everyone would come up with some really horrific things, right?
Yep.
And yes, that's trauma.
Yep.
But trauma in the sense that we talk about it with soul trauma, there's so many different sizes, I'm going to say, of trauma, but it's still trauma. That was traumatizing enough to you, Mari-Lyn, that you took that with you throughout your life.
Yep.
That's how traumatizing that was to you. You, in good faith, as a child, said, okay, I'll share with you and you share with me. And then you let her have some and then boom, nothing. That's soul crushing because that's bigger than just, I didn't get a lick of chocolate ice cream. Right in that moment, you learned it's really a huge lesson that people lie. You don't always get what you want. Just because you share something doesn't mean they're going to share back. Like there's so many more things. And how giving of a person you were so giving and trusting and caring. And then whoop, you learned real quick that the world doesn't work that way. So you can see where that trauma, how that could be traumatizing.
Yeah.
It's not just about the lick of chocolate ice cream. It's way bigger than that. And
way bigger. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I am so sorry.
Yeah.
That was the moment you found out the world isn't always a kind place. It's not always sharing and caring the way you did. And I mean, you're still that but that took away some things for you right there in that moment.
And I don't know But my sister probably she probably doesn't remember that.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
doubt it. Yeah,
why it's not
right,
even memory worthy,
right.
right?
It's for you, but
But
not
for
for
me,
her. But that's how
um,
little it meant to her.
right.
She was just like, no, not letting I got what I wanted. I'm not letting my little sister put her tongue on my chocolate ice cream. A little snotty older sister. I've got two of them as well. And three
Yeah.
snotty older brothers as well. But yes, but it's those kind of things that do traumatize us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so simple.
It certainly can be.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if that's another thing, when Mari-Lyn and I first started to get to know each other, and I hope I can say this, I think we've talked about it, but what I went through as a child, obviously there's a lot of trauma there, the abuse, and Mari-Lyn didn't have that. It wasn't that outwardly traumatizing thing. Even inwardly, there wasn't a lot of that. Mari-Lyn had a beautiful childhood, which is why sometimes she even feels kind of guilty talking about it. But it just goes to show, I mean, that we kind of worked out, okay, I'm going in too many directions. Mari-Lyn and I really realized what trauma really is by looking at our two childhoods and bringing them together. And, because I would say things like, oh, Mari-Lyn, I'm sorry that happened. And she would say, oh my gosh, no, it's not nearly what you've been through. It's like, well, but that doesn't matter. What I've been through means, those are apples and oranges, and we were both traumatized.
Yeah.
No one gets out of childhood unscathed. And I said it, we both do. That's something that we say all the time.
All
And
the
it's
time.
true.
Mm-hmm.
We come in to learn what we're here to learn,
Mm-hmm.
and we get traumatized
Mm-hmm.
through that. We're meant to.
We are meant to, and we have to experience it early
Yes.
so then we can figure out how it affects us
Yes.
as we maneuver through life.
Because we
And
have to live it for a while.
mhm, mhm. And
Live
the
it still.
longer we wait to heal
Yes.
it,
Oh,
the more stacks on top of it,
yes.
and it compounds and it compounds.
Yes. Which is one of the great things about well, all of our students are younger than us, but we have students 20s, 30s, mostly 30s, but they're starting now. And it's so awesome. And
Mhm.
of course, they don't get why we get so excited over that. It's like, yeah. And they're like, what is your problem? It's like, us. You're taking, you're starting it before you have 20 more years
Mhm.
of compressed shit to put on top of that.
Right. Now, with that said, as they go through life,
Yeah.
that wounding that they're healing
Yes.
could still resurface
Yeah.
because they have things they haven't faced yet
Yes. Yes.
that wounding will affect,
Yes.
even though they're healing it.
Oh. Well, how many
Because
times?
very rarely, okay, I have to take that back. Very rarely,
Yeah.
there are things in this life that we heal.
Oh,
Gone.
done deal, gone. I don't have to deal with that anymore.
But there are things in this life that
Yes.
we don't heal. There's too many angles and variables and too much.
Too much. Yeah.
Too much.
And we just keep it does, however, for all of you out there going, oh, um, it does when it comes up again that you heal, it's just getting some of the layers off of it, and getting some of the layers off, and getting some of the
Mhm.
layers off, and getting some of the layers off. But each
Those
time
great big onions,
yes.
all of those layers.
Yes. And it does, the next time it comes up, we're better prepared. So we've just done some healing on it. We've gotten rid of some of those layers. We've healed some of that. And yes, it comes up again. And really the next time it's not as overwhelming. It's more of shit, I have to do this again. Like it's more of that energy there.
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
say that all the years, healing from my mom's stuff.
Yeah.
And, I think it was recent that she came in, very
Mhm.
recent.
Very recent. Yeah.
She came in and Mari-Lyn and I were in a conversation. I think we might even started a healing for me. And I said, my mom's here. And Mari-Lyn said, I know, but I didn't know if I should say something or because usually I send her away. And I've been better though.
You have.
Been a lot
You
better
have.
letting
Much
her in.
better.
Very often though, it's no, I need to do this on my own with her. Mari-Lyn, I love you, but I
Yeah.
can't have you in the middle of this is what, but this time I was like, yes, Mari-Lyn, I need you to help with that. And really getting to the bottom, really getting to
Mhm.
the bottom of stuff. And it's been really, really nice. I can actually stand to have my mother in the room with me now.
Mhm.
I couldn't before.
That is nice.
Yes.
That is really nice. And there's also times though when a wounding gets triggered, and I experienced this not too long ago where, damn, finally I can really heal this. There's
Yes.
excitement because it's come
Yes.
back around,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
sometimes you just know it's back there lingering.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah,
woo, it feels good.
it does.
I
It
think
does.
with this very last one with my mom anyway, it really brought a new sense of freedom for me that says, okay, you really can, like, I can put down my sword now. I can stop fighting her over it. Do I still have some wounding? Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
But I can stop battling her, using her as an excuse. Because there are times when I still do the excuse thing. Yes. And Mari-Lyn knows this too. The other day, I didn't know why I was getting so emotional. And I just, my heart, I knew my dad was here. And I just said, Mari-Lyn, I need to hear from him. And I'm starting to cry now. And I can't. I need you to do that for me. And my
Mhm.
beautiful friend did. And she brought me beautiful messaging, which I knew.
Mhm.
None of the words you spoke were different from what I was getting. There was just something about having Mari-Lyn say them to me that made a difference. I needed it come from a different way. I don't know
Mhm.
what that was, but um
Well, y- if I can just say, you were in such self-doubt
yes, I was.
that even though you knew
Yeah.
there was this barrier
Yes.
of sorts,
Yeah.
and
And
it just wasn't getting through.
I want to say this to you absolutely because I have students who, I get healings from them all the time. We give each other healings all the time. And there's one place that's really hard for them to go is when I go into the self-doubt about
Mm.
myself. It's really hard for them because they're like, I don't see you this way. I don't, it's hard for them to see me when I get to that place. Mari-Lyn
Yeah.
truly is the only one that can really go there with me. And it's part of it is our age. Part of it, we've been doing this together for a while. We've learned and healed so much
Yep.
together. So
Yeah. That learning piece, it is important.
it's very important.
Yeah.
And I do hope that all of you have that trusted person. But even, and not but, and even with that, sometimes, like with my mom, there were times when I didn't want to hear from Mari-Lyn. I needed to just sit with mom and
Hmm.
do my thing.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
yeah, I'm not sure where that went. That, our conversations always kind of take a left
Well,
turn somewhere.
self-doubt
Woof.
is absolutely
Part of
a part of
voice
choice
paralysis.
paralysis.
Yeah, true. I
Um,
just got that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably one of the biggest factors in it.
You're right.
Um,
You're right.
eh,
Yeah.
because the wounding that is the reason, it all creates self-doubt.
Always. Yeah.
always creates self-doubt. And where there's self-doubt, there is a lacking.
Yes. And that is in the vibration of fear. So when you hear,
Yes.
that's another thing, because I'll say something, I'll say, oh, that's fear to someone, and they'll say, I'm not scared. And I have
Uh,
to remember, but fear is the category.
yeah.
And so you've heard us talk about it. There's fear and there's love. Fear is depression, disappointment, sadness. I mean, all of those sort of lower vibrational things,
Disgust.
disgust, anger, frustration, it all comes from fear. It's
Mhm.
a fear of doing something, something, doing something,
Yeah.
whatever that is. It's a fear of doing something, speaking, walking, moving, making a choice, anything. Yeah, it's all fear. So
Mhm.
fear isn't just, oh, I'm going to be
Right.
hurt. That's not what,
Mm-mm.
that's not
Mm-mm. It
fear.
is a vibration that
Yes.
encompasses usually nothing good for our
Yeah.
highest selves.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I
Man.
mean, people have witnessed me in choice paralysis on this podcast, especially early on, where I chose not to speak
Yes.
because, you know,
Either I said
too
something
many
that
reasons.
triggered you, because I do that.
Yeah,
There
it's your job, though.
to trigger you.
Yes,
We do trigger each other for
we do trigger each other.
sure.
And I mean, I guess it's my job too as teachers.
Yeah.
That is part of our job to trigger people to bring an awareness to them of what their woundings are, what their struggles are, what their ego is telling them.
Yeah.
But sometimes that choice paralysis to not speak
Yeah.
is, what if I'm wrong? What if someone doesn't agree with me?
And it's a real thing.
It
It is
is.
no joke. It
It
is
is.
real.
And thank you for all of the healing that you have helped me do, because there are times that, yeah, the words just don't want to come out of my mouth.
Yes. Yes.
They get stuck between here and here.
Yes.
But that's me on an everyday basis.
Has nothing to do with age. Just let's just say.
That's just, I don't know, just the way I
Yes.
work or process or don't process or
Yes.
whatever. But
Yeah.
now I can choose to speak and just let it come out of my mouth the way it comes out. And
Yes.
sometimes it doesn't make sense, and sometimes it
And we
does.
laugh about it and we move on.
I don't know why this came. Well, I do know why this came up. We were at the grocery store the other day, and I don't even remember what I wanted to say to my husband. But I turned around and I said like 4 words, and the last word I just kept repeating. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like,
Blue,
um,
blue, blue, blue,
yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
whatever.
I said it like 5 times, and he's like, I said, sorry, my record got stuck.
Stuck on a loop and it
I
just
don't know what the hell happened in my brain,
Yeah, that's funny.
but
Yes.
we just had a good laugh and then we carried on.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess my point was, in thanking you for the healing that you've allowed me to do, where, okay, I can do it now and I can speak, I can open my mouth and let the words come. And
Yes. You're welcome. Thank you. You helped me heal a lot. What came was something that we don't do anymore, but we used to do all the time until we realized each other's way of doing things. So those of you who have ever had a session with me or anything, I move energy through my voice. That's so I'm a talker, or I breathe a lot, I do a lot of sounds, but it has to come through, and that's just the way I move energy. It is what it is. Mari-Lyn would do, like, we'd be talking and she'd say, oh, I just got something. And then she'd say it and it wouldn't go through. I also have, I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is, but sometimes I process differently. And so I have to put it in through my brain a different way than it just came in. And so then I would say it, I would repeat what she said in a different way. And it wasn't that I already had it figured out. I was speaking it to figure it out.
Right.
And she'd say, I just said that, but you just had to, like, it drove her, which I totally get that would drive her nuts. She would say something and I'd say no, and I'd repeat it in a different way and then act as if it were my idea. And she's like, wait, I just said that. And that was very frustrating for both of us for a long time, especially
For both of us. And I never thought of this before, but you're not the only one that processes my verbiage differently. That was so triggering to me because that's how I grew up.
Oh, okay.
Nothing I said was ever right.
Oh, interesting.
It was always said differently.
Yes.
It always meant the same thing.
Yes.
But it came out of my mouth, so it wasn't right. That's how I took it as a child.
Yes.
And that's how I took it through adulthood.
Yes.
I don't do that anymore.
No.
And now when that happens, we usually have a pretty good laugh about it.
We do. We do. We do. It's just like, because I'll go, and usually it's me going, you just said that, didn't you? You go, yes.
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 But it wasn't until you just said there was something about you that you had to process it differently. We all process differently.
We all do. Absolutely do.
And I took it personal that people didn't think the same way I did.
Yeah. And there's something like I don't know how many, it might be the double digits, the different way people learn. Like, it's a lot of different ways
A lot of different ways. Yeah.
how each person takes in their environment and how they can, and my brain just, I have to hear it differently. So, and then with the way I move energy through I can't just sit there quietly and
Right.
think it in my head. That doesn't work for, I have to, it has
You
to
have to
come out.
speak it.
Yes.
And I have even heard I've heard you say one thing. No, and then you'd say the same thing, but in a different way.
Yes.
And that would resonate better with you. Then you would understand it. So it's not just me, and I have finally come to accept that.
Yeah.
But it's crazy.
Well, and I do it all the time with clients, students, whoever I'm talking to. I'll say, okay, I just need to work this out. So the first thing that comes out of my mouth may not be right. I just need to and I'll just keep talking. As a matter of fact, yesterday I did a reading for you, and
Yep.
Same thing. It's like, I just need, so don't jump in and say, nope, that's not right away, because it just needs to work its way through, and I have to talk it out for the real, whatever it is to come through.
I believe, though, that is a really brilliant way for people to learn to vocalize, to express themselves, to learn to just start speaking, just start saying the words. And if it doesn't make sense, it's okay. You're going to make sense of it as you speak it.
And to know that about yourself, and then when you're speaking to someone, for them to understand that that's what you're doing. Yeah, because I've had people say, well, that's not what you just said. It's like, what? And then I'm confused. It's like, whoa, wait. So now I'm pretty, it's like, I just let me talk, just
Yeah.
let me work this through. And because at the end, as you know, will come out what I'm really trying to say or the understanding of it. But
Right.
it can take me a while sometimes to get there. But just leaving it in my head to bounce around in there, that's doesn't
Well,
do
and I
anything.
have learned that's not leaving it in your head to bounce around till you figure it out. Oh my God, that can take a long time. It's so much faster to just start saying the words and to just let it, because the energy does flow and
Yeah.
it merges and it morphs
Yes.
and it can make sense so much faster.
And
So
how
it's not as
many
painful for other people
yes,
as
yes.
that silence.
Yes, yes. And but that's so true for so many people that we were taught not to speak unless you had something to say, right? Or
Now you're just talking to hear yourself talk.
yes, yes, those sort of things. And we learned that you don't say it unless it's an absolute truth.
Yep.
It's what you mean.
Yep.
And that's such a disservice to most of us, certainly to someone like myself.
And that you can back it up.
Huh?
And that you can back it up. You can back up what you're saying.
Yes, yes. Okay, that took me a second to see
Yeah.
how okay.
Well, I just kind of threw that in there because my brain had a story behind it. So
Yes,
yeah, I will do that a lot. And Pam speaks Mari-Lyn so
yes,
well.
I do.
You know, because I will have a story in my head and I'll say something that's pertinent to the story that really probably doesn't make sense to what's actually going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So in
Wow.
some aspect, you do speak very clear Mari-Lyn,
Yes.
but then there are times where our brain process is so different
Like,
that it has to
or you have
be
to
run
back it
through a
up.
different mill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It took me a minute to get or you have to back it up, what you were talking about there. Yeah. Don't
Yeah.
say it unless you can back it up, is what you were saying. But
Yes.
you gave me
Yes.
the back half of that. And so it took me a second. And I had to go back around to what we were talking about and then go, okay. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then I will get excited in talking and I will speak in half sentences.
yes. Yes. And when I'm in my channel, I catch it all. It's like really disturbing. That's all I can say. It can be very disturbing because she's talking in half sentences and I'm just like, yep, 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 yep. And if anyone else is listening, they're like, what the fuck is she saying? Because no one else got it. But I'm just like, uh-huh. Because spirit is bringing it to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So funny. So funny. Yeah. Well, I think this has been a beautiful day of talking about choice paralysis
I do
and
too.
the way I don't know, the way different people process information and how that gets out. And we talked about a lot of things.
We did. We did.
Yes.
But it was all pertinent to choice paralysis,
Oh, God,
wounding.
good. Oh, and I'm mad that little stinker. I wanted to name that. I'm just kidding. Thank you,
It's
Trev.
yeah.
No, I'm not jealous that way. Just FYI, I was totally just joking.
It was liberating actually to
Yes.
have
Yes.
a title.
Yes.
And we talk a lot about how, titles aren't that important.
Yes.
But
Sometimes
in that situation, man, having that title,
in
liberating.
our humanness, it matters. In our humanness, it matters. In
That's
spirit,
true.
it's
Yeah.
the same thing with names. No one gives a shit they go by vibration. That's it.
Yeah.
Names are just not important in spirit, but they are here in human terms.
Yeah. Yeah. Very important to our human egos.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think this is a good place to stop.
I think so. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. That was fun. That was
Yes,
good.
it was.
It was nice to be back
Yes.
together.
Yes, and we'll do more back together. I don't know if it probably won't affect this channel at all, but just to say it, Mari-Lyn and I have sort of stepped back from our other channel, the paranormal channel, for a little while, and it doesn't mean that we're not still working. We're still
No,
working.
not at all.
The reason is because we're working. We
Yeah.
have a lot going on. Something had to give somewhere. We totally trust that Trevor and Sarah can run that channel without us for a few weeks through June without.
And you might see one of us pop
Yeah,
up here and again.
because we might stay out longer. I don't know, but it's really we're still working, and it's because we're working that we needed to step back from
And
it.
with that said, if you have paranormal activity,
Yes,
reach out to us. You can go to our website, tcseverydaypsychics.com.
Yep.
You can reach us through there, the contact us form.
Yes.
Nobody should be living with paranormal activity.
Nope.
The paranormal activity should not be existing in your home.
No. And they want to move on too.
They do.
They don't, they're
They
stuck
do.
in their,
Yeah.
You can also find out all of our services that are there. You need readings, healing, development, whatever it is.
Readings / messaging.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So check us out. Thank you so much. Leave your comments if you're watching this on YouTube. We'd love to hear from you, even if it's just a little heart or something.
Yeah.
Just know that you all are engaged and you like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
It is helpful. I mean, we're going to keep coming back even if you don't.
That's very true. Very true.
Nice to hear it.
But we hope you will subscribe, tell your friends.
Yes.
We really want to get our perspective out there, whether you agree with it or not.
Yes.
We want to get it out there.
Yes.
Healing is important.
Absolutely. Amen.
It just is. Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
We'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye.